Restoring men in history. Reading. Why is it so important to you, men? Reading good books will make you a better, stronger man and a better critical thinker. But it will also give you a lot of pleasure, I think, and will enrich your life. So it's an end in itself. What does it do for you? Increases your creativity, expands your imagination, increases your vocabulary, makes you a better thinker, can make you also, by the way, better conversation and more interesting. It can inspire you after a long, hard, bad week or day. I know many times when I was having a bad day in business, I would return home to read a book, and it would remove me, take me to another world, whether it was Churchill or George Washington or some other part of history, World War II. And by the way, the problems that those people faced in the 1940s or the 1700s are not so far from us. They went through the same problems in love and faced enormous obstacles. So you can learn a lot on how to relate to people and the emotions. So let's look at history and literature. Literature is good for emotions and relating to people. History is good for that too, because in history you see concrete examples of people who went through that. So not only can you learn the history of the day, but what people went through, what kind of virtue they had, what kind of courage they had. For example, George Washington had a lot of courage, and you learn out their background, right? George Washington had a mother that wasn't too fantastic, and his father wasn't around. So Churchill's father, he didn't receive much love from his father. So you can overcome an uninvolved or unloving father, or a father who's not there. And you can learn that from Churchill and Washington, who went to the top, right? And both were fighting for purposes larger than themselves. So Churchill and Washington were both fighting for purposes larger than themselves. In 1984, Brave New World, you see two books about the technocracy and a lot of similarities of today. So in 1984, which everyone should read right now, and Brave New World, everyone should read right now. So those are two books right now you can put on your list. 1984, Newspeak, Big Brother is watching you. Hate speech today. So think about how the censorship worked and the changing of history in both the books. And in Brave New World, you see where they try to stimulate your brain all the time and keep you addicted to drugs. And it kind of, so 1984 versus Brave New World, it's Brave New World is kind of bread and circuses, right? If you look at today, what would it be? Too much of one thing, just watching movies, video games, porn, social media, drugs. So Brave New World, they had everyone drugged up. 1984, they were watching you. And in both books, so, and then if you read the history of Nazi Germany, the real history, you would learn what did they want to do? Remove the books. So there seems to be 1984 Brave New World Nazi Germany. All three wanted the books gone, or they wanted to change history and alter it. So in 1984, you had them changing the history constantly. And so that wasn't the point. Those were just a few books. The point was reading can transport you to other worlds. It expands your imagination. Intellectual curiosity, you can go down paths and get into flow with a good book. And it can help you with depression, loneliness, isolation, because it can get you out of your life into the lives of others in a good way where you're watching them, forgetting about your own problems and enraptured in a good book. The last line, William Manchester wrote 3-volume series on Churchill that is just engrossing. So you learn about World War I, World War II, and what Churchill does with his courage and his background. So all these books can fill in the history for you, but also give you a lot of pleasure. And you could keep a book journal, so you track it, either the number of hours or number of books you've read or number of pages you've read at the end of the year, so you know how many hours you put into reading. So I think it's a very important quality for men to read and improve their minds. And reading good books really increases your capacity to think well. So read and be better, stronger men. Thank you.